First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Nibbler. You know what? I just wanted to start this off showing our shot of the coast right there for no reason at all other than it looks amazing out there right now. But that's not what we're talking about today. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Appreciate all of you joining us. And as usual, here on Thursdays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific, we are joined by the one and only Eric G. from around the house, Northwest. Eric, good to see you.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you as well. Always a fun time.
Yes, and we always learn a lot here during your segments. Of course, everybody watching Around the House Northwest gets to enjoy all of that when we'll be talking about this week's episode. Make sure you watch last week's episode and every other one. But during these segments, we get to go in depth with things that maybe you don't get to cover during the show, or there's not enough time for, or just so many different topics that you're so knowledgeable on. And this one today, you brought this up, and I think this is definitely important for people to know about and to learn about. And we're talking about mold in your house. Eric, I want you to start it off. What do we need to know?
You know, bathrooms, especially when there's a bath or a shower in it, are just places that mold loves to grow. Any place that you get that kind of three things. You have the oxygen, you got the moisture, and you got a food there. Guess what? It's going to take off. And the general rule out there is if any place in your house, if you get above 60% residential, relative humidity in there in your home, that's a place to grow mold. And there's so many things you can do to stop that from happening. So you really don't have to clean it up that much.
That is good to know. So anywhere that's above 60%. So shower, or I guess anything, specifically bathrooms, I would assume that's the biggest one.
Bathrooms, basements, even stuff you can get inside your heating and cooling system if it's not running correctly. So there's a lot of little places that this stuff can happen. And in the Pacific Northwest, especially here in Portland, I can't tell you how many times that I've had people come in and say, hey, I had this boxes stacked up against the wall in my basement. I moved the boxes and it was black.
Yeah.
And you're in trouble.
Yeah. So
that's where the problem lies.
So what should we know about this? I'm not sure whether you want to start with preventative methods or the dangers of that.
Yeah. So the first off is in a bathroom, it comes down to ventilation. It comes down to using that vent hood, right? So if you've got that vent fan in your bathroom, it should be always venting outside. So know where it goes. If it goes into the attic, you're just going to grow mold in the attic. So it needs to go all the way outside the house. And then when you take a shower or bath, that should run at least 20 minutes after you've left the room. So if you get out of the shower, dry off, get dressed, whatever, doing makeup, whatever, I want to see that thing run for 20 minutes after you leave. So that's why in new homes, you see them always having a timer on that, is because you want to be hitting that at least 20-minute button before you get out. And if you have the right vent fan in there, you can take a completely steam shower and get out and not have that steamed up, mirror. That steamed up mirror is almost a hint that maybe you don't have enough ventilation in that bathroom.
Really? Okay, so that's a warning sign.
That is a big warning sign. And then when you think about mold in a bathroom, you get that almost orangey red rust colored, that's not rust, but it's that slime. That is another kind of mold and mildew out there. So that is the beginning of that. And so, the stuff coming off your body as far as your oils mixed with soap residue, that's all stuff. And so there's a lot of cool things you can do to prevent that. But the one thing I don't want you to use for cleaning up mold when you get into cleanup is bleach. Wrong product to use. Yeah.
Why is that? Why is bleach the bad thing to use?
So for a couple reasons. Bleach is something that has water in it. So many times if you have an area, let's say it's on a piece of wood, for instance. Okay, I've got a piece of wood in my crawl space or something that's moldy. That bleach will probably go through and maybe kill some of what's on the surface. But the problem is what it doesn't kill, it turns clear, so you can't see it. It bleaches it. And then the water feeds what's left that it didn't kill, so it'll come back even stronger. And then if it's one of the more toxic molds, the mold thinks it's getting attacked, and so it sends out spores that are now could be a health hazard to you, and it's going to try to spread.
So you're creating a monster, basically.
You're creating a much more of a monster. And then some of the things like in a bathroom, bleach is not good for a lot of surfaces. Like, so if you have a toilet, and I know people that go in and they just pour bleach right in the toilet bowl, you've now ruined the surface in that toilet bowl, and you're going to make it harder to clean because that bleach actually will etch into the side of that toilet bowl. And so it makes it a rough surface. So now the mold and junk likes to get caught up on those surfaces. So you make it harder to clean versus easier to clean.
So bleach is bad.
Bleach is bad. It won't work at all on a porous surface. If you have a hard surface, yeah, it'll kind of sanitize it, but it's just not a great product to use for that. You can use things like hydrogen peroxide that's much more natural that will kill it. And there's a lot of other mold prevention and cleaners out there that you can use that are a little bit healthier than just pouring bleach on that could make you sicker versus cleaning it up.
And it sounds like more effective.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the key. And what I recommend, if you think you've got some mold issues in your house, one of the first things you can actually do is go on Amazon or someplace and buy one of those cheap weather stations. You don't have to spend a lot of money. It's one of the ones that go outside, it'll show the humidity and it'll show it on the base station. So you can actually have two different ways to measure. You can say, hey, I might have humidity in my basement. So you can take the outdoor sensor, put it down in your basement, and then look and say, wow, that's really humid. Maybe I need a dehumidifier down there. Or you can say, hey, it's good. And you can place that around the different parts of your house and measure it, because you could have 70% humidity in the basement, but you could have 30% upstairs where the air conditioning's taking that out.
Wow. Okay. That's a great idea. And you're right. Those things aren't super expensive. You know, you can pick one up and have that monitored. So there's so many questions I have here on where you're going through. Going back to, I guess, talking about the mold and just the cleanup. So seeing that like orange reddish, you know, tinge that can happen. So that's the start of something. That's the start of
something. You see in your showers a lot. You know, you'll have all the stuff in there. Now there is a cool thing. I put this in my shower, that there's new shower drying systems out there. So if you're doing a remodel, you can actually go around and do this. And so I actually installed one in my house where it's got 13 jets that dry everything. So you don't have to squeegee the shower or anything. So you hit the timer and it blows like a shop vac, basically. It blows air all down all the surfaces, and in 7 or 8 minutes, your shower's dry. So you never have to worry about the mold or mildew in there because it's dry every time.
That would be amazing. So that's a good thing. You also mentioned getting a timer for your vent. So putting it on a timer.
That's a basic right there. And then, you know, if you've got one of the more builder basic vents out there, those things usually only work like 30, 40 CFM. And CFM is cubic feet per minute. How you imagine that is, think of a cubic foot as a basketball. So that's 30 or 40 basketballs of air every minute. I like to get up and have more 75 to 120 cubic feet per minute to really move that moisture out. And that way you get much more efficiency out of that. And the new fans as well are super quiet. And so there's a lot of great things you can do with that, just with the right ventilation and some upgrades.
Great. Fantastic advice right there. One other thing I wanted to go into, you mentioned the cleaning products. You know, bleach, no good. There's some better mold cleaning products that are out there just to clean the surfaces, or I guess get rid of it if it is there. Do you have any suggestion on what to look for when you're going to pick up one of those things?
Yeah, take a look at the chemicals. There's a lot of big brands out there. There's also, you know, so I usually go into the home centers and take a look and just look to see what it's in there. The more nasty chemicals, the better. The more natural, the better. That's why I like peroxide and some of those things. But there is a really cool paint that you can paint on stuff now that just came out here recently called Callowell. And what it is, it's like a lime-based paint. So it is so caustic that mold won't grow on it for up to 5 years.
Wow.
So it guarantees that mold won't grow on it. So if you've got a place in your basement or up in your attic or someplace that you want to paint and you can tint it, it's tintable, you can order this paint, put it on there, mold won't grow on it. So you just instantly, if it tries to grow on it, it's going to kill it. So for 5 years, that's a pretty good guarantee that you're not going to have an issue in there, but you're still going to want to dealing with that excess humidity, because that's going to be a problem in your house. And then one other little thing, I'm not a fan of those little tiny portable dehumidifiers that many people put in their basement. If they've got kind of a damp basement, you really want to put in one of the built-in models that'll handle it. There's so many of those out there. And if you've got one of those dehumidifiers, go over to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. There are hundreds of thousands of those that are out there in people's homes right now. that have got recalls on them for starting fires. So be very careful. If you have one of those small ones, check the model numbers because there's a lot on recall for starting house fires. So that's a key.
Wow, that's some great advice. Yeah, definitely. If you have a humidifier, go check right now, as
Yep.
that could really make a lot more problems for you. This is
Absolutely.
all like such good advice. Anything else that you want that you think people should know about when it comes to the mold?
Yeah, ventilation's key, and the
Yeah.
cleaner you keep it, and it's just one of those things with mold. I would recommend if you're going to go buy a house, there are plenty of companies out there that do mold testing as well.
Mhm.
And what they can do is they'll send you a box and it'll run samples through, and you can actually test the air inside the house. So you can actually see what's going on between walls and things like that, or in a crawl space, it'll show up in those air tests. So you can do air testing in different parts of your house. And you'll always test the outside air because sometimes the outside air is the moldiest stuff, even more so than inside. So you need to figure out kind of where that mold is coming from. But a mold test every few years, or if you're going to go buy a house, can be a huge thing of prevention and knowing what you're dealing with before you even get started at trying to take care of that.
That's great. Great advice. So get one of those kits and check it out. Okay, this has all been wonderful finding out about all this stuff. I mean, wonderful meaning it's good knowledge for everybody to know about. There's a lot that I just learned right there. I'm going to be looking up that cleaning product here after this and testing, well, everything that you just talked about. Going from that, talking about this for the tips and tricks, let's talk about Around the House Northwest, which you've got the new episode coming up here on Saturday. And I know I know you're pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, this one's fun. I mean, every time I get to go out and hit a brewery like this, we went up and actually brewed beer with Stormbreaker Brewing up there. And this was so much fun that we got to go up there. I mean, I was picking up bags of grain, and it was a really fun one. It wasn't us just kind of watching the process. We were in the process. So we were brewing their triple double IPA, and it was so fun to watch. I mean, they have like 10 hop additions to that. So we were adding hops about every 10 minutes through the whole process. So it was super cool to see something like this. And then again, that's in our Made in Northwest series, where we've got some fun stuff and just finding stuff that's made locally for everybody that's tuning into the show.
Yeah, I mean, the Made in Northwest side of things. I mean, that's just such a cool segment because you've been able to do some really amazing things. So a lot of fun things that you get to see with this, and it's kind of cool getting to go, with you virtually to go check this out behind the scenes side of stuff. So the brewery, just really quick on that. So it's Stormbreaker. You said it was a triple double IPA.
Yeah, it's their triple double. So it's kind of their Blazers edition. So it's their triple double, but yeah, it's got 10 hop additions to it. And
Wow.
What I like about these guys is they start out with grain and crush it. And there is it is all brewed right there in this little building. And so you're looking at the process right there in front of you. It's cool.
That is cool. Where are they located at?
They're just up off of Mississippi up there, North Portland.
Oh, nice.
So just right there. And so, the other thing I want to do is I want to get out and visit their St. John's facility because they got axe throwing right next door. So tied into that. So gonna have to go and do axe throwing one of these days.
A couple IPAs and some axe throwing. That sounds fun. Why not?
Hey, for me. So, and then on our open house segment where we actually build stuff on now, and that's kind of my DIY segment of that. We dive into my house because I found some big framing issues where I found a 2x4 that was kind of twisted up almost like an S. And then we had some other framing issue where our beam hadn't been built right 30 years ago. So we fixed that and do some drywall. So we've got kind of a little bit of everything in this show.
Nice. Yeah, that covers a lot of bases right there. You got the beer and then actually, fixing up some issues that you found in your own home. And let's.
But there's one more little tiny thing we're doing, Greg. It's fun that we've just added to the show. And this is super fun. I'm going on and jumping on Amazon and buying cheap things and seeing if they actually are what they say they are. So this week I bought a $20 cordless drill, and I'm going to put it through the paces and see how well it does. Do I smoke it? Do I break it? What happens?
I love it. A good stress test.
Oh yeah. We test them hard.
Nice. Yeah, because I've definitely gone that route. I think everybody has by that, like, oh, that's a really good deal, but maybe it's not such a good deal. So that's good to know. Well, for Around the House Northwest, I know we have lots of clips for everybody. I want to make sure that everybody knows this on our YouTube channel. So at the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, I believe you said it's over like 100.
Yeah. I think we're over 110 now. So yeah, we've got, just jump on there. You see the Around the House playlist over on the Fox 12 YouTube, and we've got tons of videos on there.
So you can go there, learn something, but then also watch this week's episode. And what are the best times to watch that?
So we've got a replay of Saturday's episode, which is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And then Saturday's the brand new one on 10 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus. And then that will replay as well at Sunday night at 6 for all of you that are out maybe fishing, hanging out at the lake or whatever else, if you're out doing something on Saturday.
Yeah, just pull it up. Pull it up right then. Yeah, for the
Got
evening. So you get two chances to watch that. And then, of course, check out everything, like I said, on YouTube and everywhere else, and follow all the clips. Eric, it's, as always, so good to have you on here. Learn so much every time. And for everybody tuning into, this is Fox 12 Now. Appreciate you joining us. This is our live show here that we do every weekday, 1 p.m. Pacific. We start. We've got all kinds of stuff that we cover on this show, and even breaking news. So if breaking news happens, this is the place to go. If it's outside of our normal newscast hours, our 4 p.m. So if you're between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., come right here for breaking news, but also come here because we get to have great segments, interviews. We learn a lot. We have Eric on here every week, and all kinds of stuff happening every day. Yesterday, I had Channing Frye on, former Trailblazer Channing Frye, talking about wine. I mean, that was pretty fascinating. He's awesome. And so lots of different things that we cover with this. So I appreciate everybody who joins this show, follows along with it, hit subscribe, and check out all of our old clips too on the YouTube channel. But I'm going to sign off for now. Eric, good to see you.
Thanks, brother. Good to see you as well.
Yeah, and good to talk to everybody who's joining us. We'll sign off for now, but check out all those other clips, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.